So, Dave, what have we not done in the last 6 months?
My face when we have literally not done a single thing and still passed multiple milestones over the last 6 months. Lamau. What are we on just now? Like, when was the last time we uploaded? Hang on a minute. Let me just check.
6 months ago.
It has been 189 days and 13 minutes since we last uploaded.
Neat.
Let's do a quick run through. What have we missed over the last 6 months? What manner of things have occurred in the world? Let's see. We are now 3 prime ministers deep.
Are we not also 5 chancellors deep too? Jeremy Hunt has returned to mainstream politics. That's the worst.
Jesus
thing.
Christ.
What else have we missed? Elon Musk gave us all the N-word passes.
Thank you, Elon.
Yeah, well,
Very
he's
cool.
African, so he's taking control.
He's South African. Let's clarify.
Legally, he's African. Bolsonaro's no longer president. Feels bad.
Liz Truss killed the Queen.
The Queen's dead. Oh, everything costs more, so we can no longer gauge how much money we get in flumps because we can't afford flumps anymore.
That's what we can spend the next cheeky YouTube check on. Just shitloads of flumps. That will be the currency when the apocalypse happens and the pound crashes. We will be the men.
What do you mean when the pound crashes?
As I've maintained for years now, my general plan for retirement is that money's going to be worth nothing and you and I are just going to become raiders in an apocalyptic Britain.
Just leave everything behind. Walk away.
Give us the gasoline and we will give you your lives. Robert, what are we reviewing today?
We are reviewing Gundam, and it is got a weird title that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Cucuruz Doan.
We're doing the most recent thing that has come out. We could have done a big old TV series and maybe done like Double Zeta, but Double Zeta is like 50 episodes, and it's taken us 6 months to even do a film. So honestly, if you were waiting for like Double Zeta...
Keep waiting.
Yeah, sometime before 2030, but no promises. So Mobile Suit Gundam, Cucuruz Doan's Island is a 2022 release, but it has a bit of an interesting history in that it is in many ways a follow-on from the 1979 original Mobile Suit Gundam series. So to tell the story of this film, you kind of have to discuss the original series as well and the many, many, many problems that it had.
Which we've previously discussed in other videos, but hey-ho.
Yes, we're revisiting it. I think this time I've actually been able to do a little bit more research into some of the fun problems that the first series had in terms of production. And honestly, it's a really, really interesting story because holy shit, it astounds me that the original series even got made given the number of production woes that it had.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, Jesus Christ.
So the production of the original series sounds like a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. They didn't have resources, they did not have time, and they didn't really have the support of their sponsors after their sponsors were feeling that the toys were not selling too much. And again, to be fair, the toys that they put out were kind of fucking crummy. These are not the Gunpla models that we are used to these days. These are these big cast metal things that...
They literally suck. Like, I don't even know
like,
how...
No wonder they didn't fucking sell. No wonder kids didn't want to watch this shit. Not only was the series not really for them, the toys that they put out around them were kind of trash as well. I think Sunrise was also in some significant financial problems at the time, so they were kind of betting on this new series.
But then Sunrise was also making a lot of garbage at the time as well. If you look at the production date of a lot of things were just made as quickly as possible and just churned out. Because like, what was it? They made like 5 shows around the same time as Gundam.
And a lot of the production crew were coming right off of working on other shows as well. Like Yaz talks about working on Space Battleship Yamato. I'm reasonably certain he's referring to the second series because the original's a little bit earlier than this, but there was a second series released around the same time that Gundam began airing, so I think he worked on the second series. So these were people who were already working their arses off and already like under quite a bit of stress when they came into this production. And as we've described already, it wasn't going well, to the point that the sponsors actually cut the episode run, and this was seen by the team at the time as a good thing. It's either Yaz or Itano tell the story about this cheer going up amongst the production crew when Tomino wanders into the office all dejected and is like, they've cut our series, we're only going to be able to do 43 episodes, and everyone goes, thank fuck, we're saved, because they didn't think that they could do it. All of the original series suffers from production issues, and you can see it coming through in different areas, but probably the episode that is
memed the most.
Yeah, the most memes. The one where things have very clearly gone very, very badly wrong is episode 15, Cucuruz Doan's Island.
The episode was so so badly done that it didn't get released in English until like...
It's never been released in English.
I believe it is now, because I think the Blu-rays had it on it as like a bonus feature.
I'm reasonably certain Tomino still insists that they never release it in English. But, I mean, yeah, feel free to prove me wrong on that one.
Seconds. Whilst I whip open my Release a Gundam and have a look at the episode list.
Go for it.
ASMR with Roberto.
Well, it's not listed as an episode. Let's have a look at the special features. Potentially not, actually. No, I don't think it was, actually. So, yeah, I think you're maybe still correct, Dave.
All right.
I mean, I'd have to actually put the Blu-ray in to check, but fucking CBA right now. It's the quality episode of a quality series.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Quality in big quotation marks right there. Like, we're talking glaring animation issues, off-model character shots. Like, it looks terrible. It's a filler episode in many ways. It's not really contributing too much to the main thrust of the narrative of Mobile Suit Gundam. If it had been produced in a vaguely coherent and sensible fashion, if it didn't look as terrible as it does in the original running, no one would remember this episode. This would have been like, oh yeah, that's the kind of filler one before they fuck off and do like the Gibraltar campaign. And
I mean, the beach episode made it into the cut, whilst this didn't.
he knew what he was doing. Tomino knew what he was doing.
I'm just saying, that beach episode can fuck off.
And yet he still includes that one, but he does not include this
Which
one.
it's literally the next episode where they're like looking for salt, not even making out. That's the plot. It's episode 16.
The big glaring reason why the original Mobile Suit Gundam had so many problems, a lot of people boil it down to a particular gentleman by the name of Yoshikazu Yasuhito, who is more popularly known as Yaz. Okay, I don't need to introduce who Yaz is. To anyone who is watching this channel, let's be fucking real here. You guys know who Yaz is. As much as we talk about Kunio Okawara being like the Mobile Suit Gundam guy in terms of like the mecha suits, Yaz is the guy who created the characters and created the iconic designs that we've all kind of come to know and love over the years. And Yaz very clearly had a lot of ideas from Mobile Suit Gundam. He seems to have seen Gundam as his opportunity to leave his own mark on the industry.
I think you'll find Dirty Pairs is true peak series.
Dirty Pair is yeah, that's Kino as well, don't get me wrong. And so he threw himself into it and he worked himself quite literally to the bone, to the point that he has a collapse somewhere during the... We don't know for sure where exactly Yaz has to drop out of the production. He is credited as an animation director up until around episode 30, but it seems that his dropping out had ramifications for earlier episodes as well. It's described as some sort of lung infection, but in the documentary that I watched, he refers to it specifically as
Karoshi.
which is death from overwork. It's the Japanese term for it, because
Just Japan.
yeah, it's not the island paradise that some people make it out to be. It's not. It doesn't always treat its workers very
What's that,
good.
Dave? Weebs are idiots.
Now, the most glaring example of these production issues that came as a result of the animation director rather suddenly and spontaneously dropping out of production comes in episode 15 with Cucuruz Doan's Island. You can't solely blame all of the problems that episode 15 has on Yaz being hospitalized. It's just that episode 15 seems to be the most glaring and obvious example of the production woes that Mobile Suit Gundam faced. And it's the one that I think both Yaz and Tomino and the rest of the production crew seem to have bad feelings towards.
I felt so bad, I couldn't give it my undivided attention. Every time I did, I thought, oh no, that's wrong, or oh, that's so bad. I was in a private room with a bed, kept pulling the blanket over my head till I was completely underneath, unable to watch anymore. I would sneak a peek and see a terrifying Gundam staring back at me and think of how terrible it was. I feel bad for the people that worked on it. That's just the conditions they had to work.
That's the animation director describing his own TV series and how he couldn't fucking watch it. So since its release, as we mentioned earlier, Tomino seems to have had a bit of a grudge against episode 15 in particular. As far as I am aware, feel free to disprove this, it has never officially been released outside of Japan. Some people have theorized that this is because Tomino does not consider it up to standard, though Tomino himself claims that it's due to an issue between himself and a member of staff on the series, but he's not willing to elaborate any further as long as the other person is still alive, because it would be disrespectful. My point is, episode 15 has become something of a lost episode within the original series, in that it's not really something that the original production crew ever intended for us who live outside of Japan to have seen. That being said, said, if you have acquired your copies of Mobile Suit Gundam in a more off the back of a truck sort of manner, you can still watch it, of course. Not that I would ever endorse these sorts of things.
Reminder that the internet is a series of tubes on the back of a truck.
Over the years, there have been some attempts to bring Cucuruz Doan in from the cold, as it were. Both Yaz and Tomino have revisited the original Mobile Suit Gundam story on a few occasions. Tomino did a bunch of novelizations of his original story, which inevitably get way darker than the original series. More people die, even more than usual, and it goes in some strange directions. And then Yaz, more recently, has done the absolutely fucking incredible The Origin manga series, and like, holy shit, The Origin is just beautiful. I love it. Invariably, if you are redoing a bunch of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, that means that someone is probably going to have a pop at trying to do another shot at Cucuruz Doan's Island. Now, there has been a previous attempt at this, which was 2016's Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin MSD Cucuruz Doan's Island, which is a manga released by the Gundam Ace magazine. I don't know how much that manga release relates into this movie that we're going to be reviewing. You do see some common elements starting to materialize in the Doan's kind of expanded on as a character. He's not just a Zeon deserter anymore. He's a senior figure within this elite development team within Zeon before he defects. I more just mention it because I think that's maybe what this has kind of expanded from as well. Like maybe Yaz has seen this and gone, what the fuck are they doing with my thing? Fuck you, I want to have a shot at this. Or maybe they saw that as a launching point, but it's kind of become its own thing. Either way, in September of 2021, Yaz revealed that he was intending to have another crack at the story himself, and he was going to be doing a full-scale movie adaptation of Cucuruz Doan's Island, which is to say that a 24-episode side story within the main narrative of Mobile Suit Gundam itself is now a just under 2-hour-long movie directed by Yaz himself, which is kind of fucking wild when you think about it. Would you say that's a fair summary of what leads up to this?
Yeah, but it's also like the continuation of Sunrise milking Gundam for all it's fucking worth. Would be the bit I would also mention, but hey ho, that's just me being me.
Rob, would you be so kind as to give us a summary of what happens in the 2022 movie release of Cucuruz Doan's Island?
So the white base.
Given that you literally just watched this
So the white
about
base
10 minutes before we started recording.
The white base are given a shitty order to go and clear this island called No Alcatraz. It's like an island in the Canary Islands, roughly. They're off of Gibraltar or whatever. And they're sent there because like ghosts or some bullshit are there. I think it's roughly what they're told. And so they're sent there.
Something keeps happening to the mobile suits
ghosts.
that get sent
We've been over this. Wait, this is a complete aside. Have I ever talked about how great the series Ghostwatch is? But anyway, that's a complete aside. So they go to investigate this island for ghosts or whatever, Zeon ghosts, and they get fucked up by like a spooky ghost. And then it turns out the ghost is just the Zaku pilot protecting some kids. Then there's like a nuclear missile or some shit. Zeon being Zeon.
Were they actually nuclear missiles?
Yeah, it's an ICBM.
When I was reading the plot summary, it doesn't say nukes, but I'm reasonably certain that McCoove is like, yeah, we'll break the...
Well, he's talking about the Antarctic Treaty and the Antarctic
Yeah,
Treaty.
okay,
is
yeah, that was the one. The
nuclear.
Antarctic Treaty is the one. Yeah, no, okay, so they are nuclear warheads, that's fine.
So there's a nuke there, then some like bad Zeon show up to like be Zeon, and then, I don't know, some stuff happens. There's like characters grow and develop, they learn to deal with their PTSD, then there's a big mecha fight, then they eat burgers. It's a Gundam episode. There's not much more to it, like honestly. Like, I'm not saying this doesn't have a plot, but this doesn't have a plot that's worth fucking mentioning.
It's a very, very simple... Again, this is like a spin-off of a...
It's a half an hour episode stretched for 2 hours.
And they make that work somehow. I did enjoy watching this.
Yeah,
Like,
don't get me
at no
wrong.
point did I feel like, this is fucking dragging a little bit, boys. Like, you could have maybe sped this up. I still enjoyed my time with this. I don't think that you and I could review this objectively, even if we tried to, because this whole fucking movie is just a love letter to the original series. Like, this is not a movie that someone who has never watched Gundam before, I would sit them down in front of them and go, watch this, and this will make you appreciate Gundam, because if you watch this, you would be staring at me the whole time going like,
What the fuck is this? What is this shit? Because like You know, like when they go back and do things like this, where they're like, we've got to reintroduce the characters that people already know. This doesn't do that. It's just like,
yeah, they don't bother. They're
like,
just, they know exactly who their audience is.
You will know who these characters are. Fuck you.
I kind of respect that, to be honest. Like, they know exactly who this is made for. They are not making an attempt to try and cater this to anyone else. If you have not watched the original series, if you don't appreciate Gundam as a thing, get the fuck out of here, dude. This isn't for you.
Not to bring up Star Trek, right? But that is literally what's wrong with the new versions of Star Trek. It's like, let's do Picard. Let's just completely rewrite his character for no reason. Oh, and now he's a robot. Thanks.
Wait, what?
Oh,
I don't want to know. No.
I'm gonna explain to you.
2 hours later.
Howard the Duck is an Oscar-worthy film. But yeah, it's like Star Trek does the opposite thing where it's like, we gotta reintroduce these characters in modern cool settings and rewrite them. No, this is like, no, these are the same characters. Fuck you for not knowing.
You know who they are.
Yeah, fuck you.
Let's review the movie now, Robert.
Okay.
Shall we review the movie?
Let's go. It has all these really cool sequences that are really well done. So like Amuro's PTSD, the flashbacks to him piloting the Gundam, the flashbacks to Shao where he's in the wrong Zaku. I fucking noticed, Sunrise. Fuck you. It does some good characterization of some characters because like they're showing us giving a fuck about Amuro and going back to save him, and then Bright is showing us not just being the yes man he quite often gets portrayed as, despite that not being his actual character.
Kai gets plenty of screen time as well. We see a lot more of Job John in this than we did in the original series, because Job John goes on to be a much more significant part of the story later on. They even redo the Bright slap, because fucking of course they do. The whole thing's a love letter to the original series, which is, I don't think in any way, shape or form a bad thing. It's still very true to the original story as well in a lot of ways. It's still Amuro getting stranded on an island and getting the Gundam, this thing that's like defined him as a character up until now. It's stripped away from him. He's then surrounded by reminders of the childhood that he's been forced to give up in order to become a soldier, with all these kids that are running around him. And ultimately, it's Amuro having to return to the Gundam to, you know, accept that he's not going to get his childhood back. It's maybe a little bit too far gone for him, but he's returning to the Gundam in a way more heroic fashion by the end of this, because he's doing so to protect the children and also this guy Cucuruz Doan himself. It's a lovely little self-contained story. I did enjoy it, but again, I'm being pandered to, Robert. I'm aware I'm being pandered to. This was made for people like me.
What? Plebs. You're right, David.
I really like the way they introduce things like the Southern Cross Corps, or whatever we're supposed to actually call them. I don't know what the actual translation is. Again, I'm just going with what the fucking wiki says. Suddenly, it's not just random Zakus dropping onto the island. It's these former allies of Doan who have now become his rivals and his enemies. And all this works quite well because Doan then has to kill all of these people, and there's that element that Gundam does so well where like they're showing these awesome fights and these awesome set pieces and these awesome battles, but it's a very, very bittersweet thing because Doan is having to kill these people who he once cared for and who once cared for him. I would actively like to enthuse a little bit about the fight scenes itself, however.
Oh yeah, no, they're fucking great.
God damn, they look so nice. The sound design behind all of like the weapons and stuff, and like the suits clashing together as well, it's fantastic. Like, this is Sunrise giving Yaz and the team responsible for this a really solid budget and letting them just do what they do best.
And it's like the whole fact that we're now starting to see CGI animation blended properly.
People are starting to figure it out. I do feel like we have Trigger to thank for this, because I think post Gridman, people have started to figure out how you merge 3D and 2D elements in a way that doesn't look complete dog shit. But as you say, here they're really nailing it, and it doesn't sound like it's got you frothing at the mouth in the way that it does sometimes as well. So very clearly it's done a good job.
I mean, I noticed it and I was like, fair. I only just noticed it and I'm like, got you.
The soundtrack as well, solid, really, really well done. Very clearly inspired by the original. Like, I can't remember the names of the two original composers. I'll flash their names up here.
渡辺武雄 and 松山雄志
It's not either of them. It's a new lad who's come in for this called Takayuki Hattori. He's a Paris Conservatoire graduate. Like, the man knows his music. But I do feel like Yaz kind of like sat him down at a table, slapped the original sheet music from Mobile Suit Gundam in front of him and was like, I want this again, and do not fucking dare try and change anything about this. Just do this.
They did add in some electric guitar riffs for the combat and stuff, but
that's fine. You can do that for combat.
It wasn't terrible. Like,
Yeah, no, it was solid. It was very clearly taking its cues and riffing on the original soundtrack and not trying to change it too much.
what I'm saying, yes, is I want the beach episode and I want it in 4K. Do it.
Did you enjoy Mobile Suit Gundam Cucuruz Doan's Island, Robert?
No.
No?
The animation's cool. Did I find the plot entertaining? No.
I feel like that's maybe coming from you being a little bit jaded with this story by now, given that this is now like the second or third time
This
you've
is like
sort of seen
the
an
fourth
attempt to...
rendition of this fucking thing I've watched. They're like, you removed the MMA Zaku for no reason. What the fuck? My problem with all of these is like, there's no threat to the main characters in this, right? Because I know they survive because this is episode 13 of Gundam. Like, the retelling of the story is really good. It's really great. But like, I know Amuro's not in threat. I know Slager's not in threat. Sailor Man. Like, the people I know and care about because they're the main characters. My complaint is the plot is garbage, but everything around the plot is great. I don't care. Why the fuck is there suddenly nukes all of a sudden? And why is it on this one island not defended by anything? This is just dumb.
I do think that is the weakest element of the story. Just that, we'll find a way to tie it into the wider plot and like raise the stakes a little bit. It's like, yeah, but you could have not done that. It could have just been this herd of Zaku mobile suit pilots arriving on the island and wrecking the place.
It could literally have been the fact that it's on a supply line. You didn't need to add this nuclear threat plot, which we know doesn't happen. It's the standard Gundam, oh, we gotta make the Zeon really bad, so how do we make them really bad? I know, quote Hitler, add nukes. Thanks, Japan.
Is Paris burning?
Thank you, Alfred Udall, for saving Paris.
They overdo a bit of Chekhov's gun.
And I can have a gun, and I must have a gun. That's the rule of Chekhov's gun. Have a gun.
The big one for me was where Amuro kind of like storms away from the lighthouse where they're all staying, and he goes on a walk to try and find his suit, and he comes across this massive fucking dome that's resulted from this like missile strike on the island, and it looks like a fight pit, and I'm staring at it going, this is where they're gonna do the final confrontation, isn't it? This is where the final fight's gonna be. And lo and behold, sure enough, there it is. That is exactly where they have the final fight at the end of the film. And I'm not mad, and I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but it's a little on the nose.
Chekhov's gun is the worst meme. Thanks, James Bond, for ruining it for everyone.
To wrap things up, I guess, on the actual review of the actual fucking movie that we're supposed to be
Cars 2 is a
reviewing.
wonderful franchise.
It implies the existence of various different war crimes conducted by cars
Does
upon
that mean the
cars.
Cars Geneva Convention exists?
Yes, probably.
So what's the car universe equivalent of Hollow Point bullets?
I don't know, and I don't want to know, and let's not do
So
this.
if the Geneva Convention exists in the Cars universe, does that mean the Zulu Wars occurred in the Cars universe? And what did that look like?
I'm not even gonna answer that. Cucuruz Doan's Island. To wrap up on the review front, I like the idea of Yaz being able to revisit something that he obviously has, hang-ups over, and doing what he feels is justice to the original story that he wanted to tell. And the actual finished product itself turns out as this absolute love letter to both the original series and I think to the fans as well. There's so many different things that if you are someone who enjoyed the original Mobile Suit Gundam series, you'll get a lot out of this. This is something that was made for you. If, however, you are someone who is new to Gundam and is maybe trying to find a place to start here, don't start here. Go watch something else. This was not made for you.
As much as I complain about the plot, it is good. It's just my own hang-ups with it. It's really well made. It's really, really well designed. The music's fantastic. Combat's great. It's worth watching if you like Gundam. I'm just tired of... I want more original Gundam stuff. I don't like the rehashing of things. I would love to see expanded stuff as opposed to this, but I still really liked it.
So what's next for us? I guess
Ghostwatch.
We'll wrap things up. Yes, Ghostwatch. That's our next plan. We're going to be reviewing Ghostwatch. We've not put anything out over the last 6 months because fuck you, it's not like we're making any money from this anyway. But if we can maybe wrap up our rebuild of Evangelion review, now that all of that's out, do the third and the fourth movie, see that whole thing off, and then never ever talk about Evangelion again. I never want to talk about it anymore after that is finished. You have been talking today about wanting to do some weird shit like either Goblin Slayer or Girls und Panzer.
That would be great. Ghostwatch. I still want to do Ghostwatch.
We've missed. If you wanted to do Ghostwatch, Robert, we needed to plan this at least 2 months in advance, and we needed to do it for Halloween. You're not
No,
going
we
to do
don't.
Ghostwatch in
don't.
fucking December.